Coffee so far. I'm struggling today. Thank you so much. Coffee. No, the mug.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be harder to get.
Thank you, brother. You're the man.
I'll drop it on the mug.
Yo, imagine, or on the computer. Sit it right over here.
Or you put it on the ground.
Could do that too. For now, I'm gonna sit.
Really?
It's scary, bro. Coffee so far. I'm struggling today. Thank you so much. Coffee. No, the mug.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be harder to get.
Thank you, brother. You're the man.
I'll drop it on the mug.
Yo, imagine, or on the computer. Sit it right over here.
Or you put it on the ground.
Could do that too. For now, I'm gonna sit. I won't move. I'll be okay. I'm flirting with death right now.
If you trap it in the corner, you know what I mean? Like, just like, is that better or not?
Yeah, it's like stuck there. Sure, right now.
Shot.
Little shawty looking better with no makeup. She brighten up my day when she wake up. I know the mother got the same stuff, but I'ma keep it real, there ain't no fake love till our day come. Little baby wants.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, got a new face on the NSL pod. Welcome in the NSL household, my friend.
Awesome, what's up?
So,
oh boy,
we'll run it back. No, it's all good.
Cut that out.
Also, what might feel awkward on cam doesn't look awkward after, by the way.
Okay.
Like sometimes you might feel like, damn, like I'm stupid right now, but
Yeah.
it's either I cut it out or it's just.
That's my whole
fine.
life. You know?
Special edition of the pod today. We got a one-on-one. Full circle here because this is my boy from high school. Now, turns out after high school, we both kind of got into the music world independently, just on our own, and that's kind of what kept our friendship going, I would say. You know, like we have a whole lot of friends in common and stuff, but music kind of tightened our bond. So DJ Quemo in the building.
What's up?
Producer, overall good dude, good football player. So yeah, I was down to have him, and obviously you see the boys aren't here today; they couldn't make it. But yeah, I'm down just to have a one-on-one convo. A whole lot to talk about from marketing. I know you're a big marketing guy.
Yeah.
We'll probably get into AI a little bit. We'll get into your experience in the music world, exposure, signing to labels, being independent, Russ. Okay, so how you doing? First and foremost, how you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy that, I get to make music every day. I'm in it. For so long, like when I graduated school, like, you know how it is, like you're in university, like you have to go to school. You need to put in like 20 hours a week minimum towards like, studying and learning these things, but you can't really choose like, I want to spend 6 hours a day doing music. I want to spend 3 hours a day getting better at programming. You just have to do, what I mean?
You gotta pick and choose.
The fact that like 1 year later, I'm in the music industry, like I'm making either it's content, either it's beats, either it's programming, like I'm doing what I'm doing what I love, like that's amazing.
That's good. I think that's all that matters, bro. So
yeah.
Happy to have you in the NSL family here,
Thanks,
bro.
bro.
Rocking the hoodie too.
Thank you.
Shout out
thank
JK
you.
who got me that. He's rocking it today though.
Wait, who made it? Joker?
Joker made this, yeah.
I remember at your
brought it
birthday
on my
party.
birthday.
I remember. Okay.
That was a pretty nice gift. Him and his sister, they gifted me that. Really
That's
nice.
dope.
Okay, so I want to talk about the whole producer side of you and the whole producer world. So obviously I'm not a producer, but I work with. That's why I wanted the boys here today, but whatever, it's all good.
It would have been nice to talk to Dusty
yeah,
about
it would've-
production, like
I
just
know.
nerd out on like
I know, bro.
FL Studio Ableton. What do you use?
Well, we could always have a different episode where we focus on different segments, right?
Yeah.
But you as a producer, this is how I want to start it. There's a lot of producers that follow NSL. There's a lot of producers that follow my TikTok and listen to my tips and stuff like that, or on my TikTok lives that'll come and play beats and stuff. And I always thought, because NSL is different the way we're structured, because we have a vocalist being me and then 3 producers that work around me. So for them, it kind of helps because they can always have someone to feed beats to. They could obviously outsource and look for other people to work with, but they're guaranteed to have me first, right?
Yeah.
What I'm seeing, and I would really like your take on this, as starting from ground zero as a producer, what do you think is the best strategy to grow and to actually build something successful? Because I see a whole lot of producers that just started making beats, that didn't like establish a proper following and stuff yet. But then you see them charge like $300 for a beat, and they're kind of like, they're all about the money or all about this, that. And it's like, I just don't feel like if I was a producer, I would approach it that way. Because I always see it like me as an artist, like I never charged for a feature. like when I was tiny and stuff, like I would do anything to just get like an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So I would always like try to please everyone and say yes to any favor that was asked for me. But I don't know if it's just me, because I would like your take on this, but I feel like producers often, not all of them, but they're all just right away looking for a bag, this and that. But it's like now with all we're the accessibility to so many different platforms, even like Splice or other producers, like why would I pay for a beat when I got 3 people in-house that are gonna give me free beats? And now that I've established a foundation, I got people every day in my DMs, like, "You were sending me 3 beats a day for, like, a year at
I
one
did do
point."
that. Yeah.
And so many people from, like, across the world are just sending me beats all the time.
Yeah.
So why would I, and I understand that everyone needs to make a living and pay the bills, so I'm not being like, I don't wanna be rude about it, but it's at the same time, for me as an artist perspective, like, why would I go out my way, pay $300 for, like, an producer that has no credibility
Mm-hmm.
when I have 10,000 beats at my disposal for free?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would like to get your take on how you think producers should approach this whole building a fan base. Because once you do have a fan base, then it makes sense once you
Yeah.
have that credibility.
Yeah.
But they skip that step. From my perspective, they skip that step. They just want the money right away.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like in your experience, how you've experienced that, and what would be your advice or your kind of strategy to get to a point where you could sell with reason, basically?
Yeah. No, I get that question. This is so cool answering a podcast question. But yeah, to me, I think it's a question of supply and demand at the end of the day, because it is a business. And if you're in a position where the demand for your beats is so high, then naturally the price sets itself up just organically, right? You don't have to charge whatever. Just what did you charge the last artist? I charged him 10,000. He's gonna be 10,000, right? But if you're a producer that's upcoming and like no one knows you, you have no name. That's your leverage that you don't have. You have expertise level, like how good your beats are. They might not be the same as someone else. It makes sense to give your beats out for free, build relationships, build a network, because that's like the first. That's like your first leverage point. Once you got a song with like a couple big artists in your city, you
Mm,
can leverage that to get an even bigger artist from a different city, a bigger city, and then you can leverage that to get an even bigger name. So I think it's a question of what your leverage is. Are you a producer that has zero following, or do you have a small following? That's already more leverage point that you can, like for example, if you're someone that like Murder Beats or someone
exactly.
like Metro, it's like you have an audience already. So it makes sense that you can charge for your shit. So it's really a question of like how much demand you have for whatever you're offering.
Yeah, no, that's true because, but I don't know why. I guess, but some artists are like that too, where they just chase the bag right away. But I just noticed the producer world. It's probably because I deal with producers more,
Yeah.
because like they're sending me beats and stuff. What I find kind of petty, bro, is when they'll send me like a beat pack and they'll be super hyped. They're like, "Yo, please get on it, please get on it." I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Like, my pleasure, I'll do it." And they're
Mm.
like, "Oh, by the way, it'll be 300 USD." I'm like, "What?" You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you asked me to get on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That turns me off. But you're right though. The whole supply and demand thing and credibility thing too. When you were talking about
Incredible.
like, start small, bro. Like no one
Yeah.
will just start with getting the biggest artist on their song. Just
Yeah.
like me when I'm looking for features and stuff. Like you start small, but then guess what? It's stepping stones.
Yeah.
Even with this pod, like the level of guests I'll get over time.
Yeah.
Like it's like that for anything.
Yeah.
Going to the gym, I say that all the time. But the first time you go to the gym, you won't lift as much as if you've been there 3 years.
Exactly.
Everyone starts from somewhere, but it seems like somehow in the social media world
Yeah.
people try to skip the first 10 steps and they just
Yeah.
expect things. I don't know if it's our generation that's very like
Instant gratification.
yeah, exactly. And they're kind of like what's the word when you just expect everything for you, like entitled. People that are entitled,
Entitled.
like our generation's really entitled, so I feel like they'll make one good song or one good TikTok and they're like, how dare did I not blow up and become the
Yeah.
biggest artist in my city? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hundred
Whereas,
percent, man.
and probably because we have so many opportunities and stuff, I don't know what it is, but I feel like our generation's entitled, bro.
Yeah. I think the whole like stuff you're talking about like people wanting things so quickly, I think is just from what I've seen is some people are not in it for the long run. Like they're in it because they've seen the benefits that come with that kind of lifestyle. So
Yeah,
they want it. They want it because for them it's like a transaction. Like I'm gonna put in 10 hours. I'm gonna get this.
it's true.
But like the people that are in it for like the long term, they really want to be like the best at their craft. They're gonna give out free beats. They're gonna do free content for people that work at higher ups because they just want to get their foot in the door. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just want to get like a little. Because as soon as I'm in the door, I know I'll progress from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that kind of bleeds into my next question, because that's what I was gonna say. Because everyone watching this will be like, okay, yeah, it's nice to say like just start from nothing, but to get to that point where you can, right? Because you talked about like huge names like Murda Beats and Metro and stuff,
Yeah.
but to get from, let's say, someone who just started today to get there, what do you think the smartest way of going about it is? Obviously, it's social media,
Yeah.
but I guess it goes into what you were just saying, like giving out stuff for free, right? Like give, and eventually you'll get back. Like, would you say that's your
I
best
mean,
advice?
obviously, there's so many different ways to move forward. Are we talking music industry specific or just like in life in general?
Well, I guess it works for both, but I'll be more like specific about music, because you'll have producers on here that are really trying to get those first few steps, right? And
Yeah.
they're like kind of overwhelmed. Like, how do I get from, my 100 followers on IG to get to a place where I could like gain that leverage, right? So if you're saying to these people like,
Yeah.
well, give,
Yeah.
what could be some examples of ways that they could like do that, right? To
Okay,
get
yeah.
that. Like, I think that would be super valuable for them if you had
Yeah.
ideas for that. Because I know you've been doing that.
Yeah.
You've always
100%.
been about kind of like never, you kind of just like, let everyone, like help everyone without asking back.
Exactly. Yeah.
So maybe a few ways that you could like think that could maybe be beneficial or valuable for them.
Yeah, 100%. So if we're talking just producers, well, it kind of helps to have other skills around music that you know that people in your industry want. So if you're a
Mm.
producer, maybe learn how to sound engineer. That way you can offer that to the specific artist. Say like, hey, like I'll mix and master your songs for free, and then eventually that can lead to him hopping on your beats, or saying like, hey, I know how to do video editing. Let me make you a free video. At the same time, let me slide you some beats like under the table. So I feel like it's any way that you can add value in your industry. You know, I mean, for example, you have a huge audience of people that tune into whatever you're doing. You can talk to other artists and say like, I have people listening to my live streams. That's huge leverage for a potential new feature for you.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
so many other things that, you
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Like,
That's why I started it. The TikTok
Yeah.
lives is for me to discover other artists too, right?
okay,
Because
that's-
like
that's
us,
crazy.
like from where we're from, like we don't know that many artists from our city. Like, yeah, we could go to local shows and find that now that we have a bit of like our foot in the door, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But bro, at the beginning, like you're there, you don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't know how many artists and producers there are, man.
There's
Like
a
I'm
lot.
always mind blown on like there's so many people out there that make music,
Yeah.
but you just don't really know. But once,
Yeah.
especially with like platforms like TikTok and stuff, like bro, when I go live on TikTok, my IG DMs, I have like hundreds and hundreds of people messages me. It's like crazy from around the world, bro.
That's crazy.
And it's just I find it so cool that like, no matter where the people, like where you're from, what language you speak, like religion you preach, it's like music's such a common factor of like
Yeah.
everyone, like this just brings everyone together. It's like one of those things, like I don't think there's many things in this world that have that ability.
But why is that though?
I think it's because it stems from art, and art is something that it's like a universal language.
Expression.
Yeah, it's expression and also like relatability. Like
Mm.
I think the biggest artists or the ones that live the longest in their prime is artists that are open to being vulnerable and relatable. Talk about topics that people could relate to. That's what like longevity is in this game, right? Is like if you could make a song that people really could relate to, like a specific, obviously it won't be the exact same story that you're singing about, but if you're talking about certain concepts that people have been through, like loss of a loved one or like breakup and stuff like that, like almost like everyone goes through life, no matter
Mhm.
where they're from, no matter, you could be like in the poorest neighborhood or rich neighborhood, but guess what? Like your mama's gonna die eventually. You know what I mean? Like, like
Yeah.
those things that really make us human,
Yeah.
you can't take away those aspects of life. So I think
Mm.
music is one of those things that like it takes out of everything out of context. Like it doesn't matter anything where you're
Yeah.
from, what language you speak, anything. It's kind of like I don't even know how to explain it.
It's almost like an equalizer almost.
A little bit, because
Yeah.
bro, even on my live, sometimes I'll be playing music that I don't even understand the lyrics, but it's one of my favorite songs of the whole thing.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's just it's different. It's something that, and all human. Like think of it. You don't know many people that don't listen to music.
Yeah, if you're not deaf, no, but for real, because like obviously like if you obviously if
But
you're
you know
deaf,
though,
but, like,
deaf people apparently they listen to music because of the vibrations.
I've
So
heard
they
that
still
too.
vibe to it.
I've heard that too. Yeah,
Because like you feel it in your chest and stuff when that
Yeah.
music's loud.
yeah.
But you're right though. Like still, yeah.
But yeah, actually, I haven't met a person because even people that say like, "Oh yeah, I prefer movies." Well, guess what? There's music in movies.
Yeah, yo, soundtracks are such
The
a big
soundtrack-
factor. You don't
There's-
realize, but most scenes in movies, there's background music.
Exactly.
Almost the whole movie, it's never quiet.
Never quite. Horror movies would be horrible without music.
Bro, you could turn a horror movie into a comedy movie if you just change a track.
Just by
list.
changing the track.
It's hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
Music is everything. Like, even in commercials, like
Yeah.
everything. In restaurants, like it just sets the mood.
Yeah.
It's subconscious, but it's crazy. So I don't know what it is, but something about humans and music is like something special.
But it's weird because it's just sounds. You know what I mean? It's not something that's like related to us surviving longer. You know what I mean?
No, it's
that's
true.
why it's weird. It's because like it's not. We don't actually need it, but we need it.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like something like reproduction or something like
You
that,
know
where
what I
it's
mean?
like for humans to keep like.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean,
I don't- there must-
communication, I guess, but
Yeah, it's a communication style for sure. But I just find it interesting, and I just find we're so lucky to be in that world. You know, like since we started NSL and since like I started music, I feel like I'm so grateful that I found it, bro.
mm,
You know, for so many reasons, like mental health, just being creative, remaining like young-hearted, and just meeting so many people. Like it's been beneficial in so many ways. But I'm just glad that I think everyone needs a creative outsource, and like not we're in music, so we're talking music. But like anyone who could express themselves in a creative way, I think it's literally one of the pillars for someone's like mental health and just being fulfilled as a human.
yeah.
I feel like everyone needs it. It's
Yeah.
tough to find though. Like life kind of took me in a direction where I found it,
hmm
but I hope that like everyone one day finds that for them.
Yeah.
'Cause
But you know what's weird though? I feel like everybody knows what it is, and they're already doing it. You know what I mean? Like even before you got
Like
into
behind
music.
the curtain, you mean?
No, I mean like even before you got into music, you already had those songs that you were like, I love this song. Like I want to hear it every single day.
That's
Like you already
true.
had those moments in your life where you're like, this shit is like
Yeah.
awesome, right?
That's true.
So I feel like everybody kind of knows what they really, really enjoy.
That's true. Do you think like low key like they repress it just because they don't want to like pursue their dreams because they don't think it's realistic or something?
That's
Or is it like because I do believe everyone has a calling. I
Yeah.
believe it, and I do believe, not to get too philosophical, but I believe that people that get older and they kind of have struggles with like mental health and like this and that is because they never pursued their calling, and you know they kind of wake up one day and realize like, damn, like I kind of sacrificed my lives and dreams for something else, you
Mm.
know. But it's kind of it's hypocritical of me to say that because I feel like I found mine.
Mm,
But before finding mine, like I remember when I was young, my pops would always be like, "Yo, like just go with what you're passionate about. Like do what you're passionate about." And when I was younger, I didn't really know.
mhm.
I was just like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
Like you don't really know what passion is until you experience it. You know, you can't just teach that. Like, yeah, you could like things, but to be like passionate about something, the amount of time I put into NSL on a weekly basis is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like you would think like I'm kind of insane
Yeah.
because I'm just doing it, like barely making money off of it, this, that, but it's deeper than that. You know, like sometimes I'd rather just sit back at home and edit like a vlog instead of going out and partying just because like I feel like I need to do it.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing it straight up, like I get anxiety.
That's
It's like I'm like obsessed with it.
yeah.
But it's without it, I would be like, I don't know, bro. I'm so happy I found it. Anyways, yeah. Not to get too philosophical with it, but yeah, I hope that everyone does find their things. Everyone does have their talent and stuff. It's just a matter of like, I don't even remember how I came across mine. Like, I met the NSL guys. We made a song for fun, and boom.
Really?
know?
That's
And then that's how
crazy.
it was just so fun. And they were like, low key, you're not bad at it. So we just like, okay, let's do another one for fun. Then another one. Then COVID hit like a few weeks later. Then guess what? I lost my job. School went on pause. Hockey went on pause. Gym closed. That's my life, what I just told you. And then I had this music thing. So I was like, okay, like let me just do this all the time. I started my Instagram page and like, so everything was kind of written in the stars for that.
Interesting.
But anyways, man, it's just, you would have asked me when I was like, you know, like 14 or something, like would it even be possible that you'd be like a independent music? I'd be like, no way. No way. But also technology evolved so quickly that like, you know, TikTok didn't exist then either, like
Yeah.
all those things. So it wasn't as realistic. But now
Yeah.
it's like you could literally start a business of any type anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Get it up and running. Sure.
What's gonna be crazy is some people from our high school are gonna watch this just because we're
Yeah,
having
I
a
hope
conversation.
everybody from St. Anne watches this.
Yeah, shout out Calais Chanton. So
Yeah,
this,
shout out Kodesh and Tons.
yeah, I love that school, man.
Amazing school.
And just because of the people there, bro.
Yeah.
Like the school was
100%.
hard, man. Like
Yeah.
I remember I
I
almost got
got
kicked
bad
out
grades.
after
Man,
after sec one, bro. Because I was like pretty garbage at school when I
but
was
you
like
told me
young.
that you weren't supposed to go into Santan.
No, and
Yeah.
well, I was on the wait list because we went to a private school. We were really lucky
Yeah.
to go to that school, but it was tough to get in, and like I wasn't the smartest when it came to school, and like when I was younger,
Yeah.
I only did the exam because my older sister was there.
She was at Santan?
Yeah, so my parents really wanted me to go there, and I had a lot of friends from my elementary going there, so I did the test, but like I was on the wait list, and everyone was getting accepted, and me like so I was registered to public school here in my neighborhood instead, and last minute they accepted me. Okay, like I'm gonna go for sure.
Like a week before.
Like really not long before, bro.
Yeah.
All this to say is that after the first year, I almost had to leave because like I was
Mm.
struggling, you know. But then I stuck to it, and bro, I'm so happy I stayed.
Yeah.
Like the friendships we have now, like so many people that we still
Yeah.
like kick it with from our high school is amazing. I loved it. It was hard though.
No, it was tough.
Like educationally, like that side was tough, but the social circle we built was
What was
crazy.
the hardest year you think?
For me, it was second one, just to adjust to the whole high school
Yeah.
thing.
Honestly, Seg 1 was definitely hard. Yeah.
I found it hard.
Yeah, I found it.
That's when we met. Remember we had English class together?
Yeah,
We'd always
English
get in
class.
trouble with
Yeah,
that teacher.
Our
Yeah.
teacher was crazy.
Yeah, we would vibe though.
Yeah, she was wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that class was lit too. Like the people in that class.
Yeah, it was lit. That's why we get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh man.
Good time. So shout out anyone who's watching. That was a little high school segment. Shout out Kalei
Yo, the funny thing, my little brother took that same class like 3 years later.
Okay.
She still remembered, like, she was like, "You're a Quemo, aren't you?" Yeah, I swear.
You're a Quemo. As if you're your own breed, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know how we got into that. Russ, though. I want
Yeah.
to talk about Russ and just independent artists as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're familiar with guys like Connor Price and all those guys killing it on
100%.
TikTok.
Connor Price and Nick D.
Yeah, those two are
Yeah,
crazy.
he's alright.
But I think that shows like the power of
Lil Russell.
social media. Yeah,
Oh, Russell's crazy.
bro. Even guys like, but this guy's more of like a kind of like troll, but like Lil Man J. You know who that is?
No,
You don't know who that is?
No.
It's like this blonde kid. It's like a small blonde kid.
no.
He makes like everyone says he's like he bites little baby's flow.
Oh, he's hard.
Yeah, he goes hard.
He's hard.
I know. But
he sounds exactly like Lil Baby,
does,
and
yeah.
he's white. It's like the craziest
yeah,
thing
he's like
ever.
a white kid. Just sounds
Yeah.
like
Oh,
baby,
he's
though.
hard though.
He
I
goes
love him.
hard. But all this to say that these people wouldn't exist if it wasn't for TikTok or social media, but especially TikTok.
100%.
And you know, I find it crazy, like you know, the debate of like being signed versus being independent is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger because of threats like TikTok taking over the music industry and all that. And I'm just curious, even outside the podcast, like I'm just curious, you as an individual, how you perceive that, and like, let's say you as a producer
Mhm.
would be approached by a label and this and that. Like, do you think you would go that route if one day like that opportunity presented itself, or you would just rather like stay solo? I'm curious on your take. We've never talked about this. So I'm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, so I used to be a guy like, no label, never.
Okay.
Like,
Everyone
I'm
starts out that way, huh?
I'm independent forever.
Everyone starts that way, bro.
Everybody, yo, I used to be super, especially in 2017, 18,
Uh-huh.
when like it was a super big wave to be like anti-industry.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
But
pride thing, bro. It's a pride
it
thing.
is.
Like, yo, I'm doing this all on my own.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you
a
feel like
flex.
you're really like you got like a chip on your shoulder.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I definitely think that a lot of artists that I know and just in general definitely don't know how to run a business, and therefore
Yeah.
they can't treat themselves like a business because they just are not good at leading people, making business deals, understanding their industry they're currently in. So I feel like a lot of artists do need to help or need to work with other people that are more business savvy. And when it comes to labels, I think nothing is bad. You just have to take a deal that makes sense for both parties.
Yeah.
And you need to understand exactly what the exchange of value is and what everybody's bringing to the table.
Exactly.
That's the only thing I got to say about that.
I agree. I think, unfortunately, like, historically, a lot of people got screwed on them.
Yeah.
Especially in the hip hop industry, I think, because they're going to like pay these kids that really have no education on the business,
Yeah.
and they just sign because out of desperation a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Or they get blinded by the initial bag or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, man, and obviously labels do need to adapt to these realities.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that now we're going into it way more educated than like 20 years ago or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So we have more of leverage going into it because we know how it works, and just with social media being a big threat to them too. You
Mhm.
know, like TikTok and all is a big threat for labels. There's no
Yeah.
denying that.
Yeah.
So they need to adjust the way they structure their things, because or else people won't even look their direction.
Exactly.
So I think now, like the new school labels, not all of them, but I think some of them are actually very good.
Yeah.
Like I never really dealt with it firsthand, so I can't speak on it, but I do think there is value. Like people that just, like I get it, the whole like I'm independent and it's amazing, this, that. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But realistically, since I'm deep into it now and it's getting more serious, I know that like I'll plateau at one point
Mm-hmm.
because I'll just run out of time and resources.
Mm-hmm.
Like just on a practical standpoint, that's when Devo was here, we were talking about this a little bit too. Like, how realistic is it to just be completely solo forever and just to keep climbing that? It's
Yeah.
almost impossible.
Yeah.
Like guys like Nick D, we were talking about, even Russ on like a huge scale, but Connor Price, those guys, they are independent, but they have teams working with them now, right? So it comes down to eventually, if you really want to do stay solo, you do need to like, you need to have a team around you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's hard to find a team that could actually do all these things for you. Most of these people will like try to get their family involved, their friends involved. Yeah, but who knows? Like the connections that they have might be nothing, or the just the knowledge they have of the industry. Like not many people know about the music industry, how it's structured, and all the niches of it. Like we were talking about, like touring, bro. No one knows about that. Merch, like all these it's all complete different branches within the whole business world. So I like the idea of it, but like in practice, it must be really hard. Like it must be hard to find the right people to fill in those spots if you want to stay independent. Whereas if you go with the label, you have people that are kind of assigned for those roles, so you kind of, it helps that process a little bit. So I don't know. Like I would be hypocritical of me to say like, oh, screw labels, because I don't know down the line like if the deal would make sense. Because people also see it like almost in an unrealistic perspective that like they want everything from the label, like give,
and the label doesn't get anything back.
Well, yeah, the label,
It's
it's a transaction, bro. Like they're
business.
not just gonna invest all their money, time, resources, efforts, and like workers for nothing.
Yeah.
There's a whole point. It's like a business transaction. Any business transaction you're gonna do, you have like a compensation aspect, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like being a pro athlete or whatever. Like there's value on both sides, or else what's the point?
Yeah.
So it's almost become like the swing of the pendulum, that now it's like artists expect everything, but they're not going to give anything in return. That's not realistic, bro.
Yeah.
Unless you have leverage like Drake status. Drake could probably tell anyone anything and get away with it because he's Drake. But anyone else, like, I don't know. I feel like you said, it's an exchange of value. Like you have to be realistic. If the label you're signed with is giving you these crazy resources and connections that you never would have had otherwise, you need to acknowledge that that's crazy value, and that has a monetary value attached to it. So you do need to give back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It gets complicated when it gets the business side of it, but you can't ignore it because it's, if you're trying to pursue it.
I think people are just labels just got a bad rep. So for a long time, artists just saw labels as whatever they're doing is bad.
True.
But it's all really a question of exchange and value, and not letting your ego and just being smart about it. Because if a label has 5 TikTok pages that each have 2 million followers, and you signing a deal with them, for example, might make your songs be on those 5 TikTok pages. Now that's interesting. It's the same label asking me, tell me that they're going to put me on radio. That's less interesting, right? So if the label can come at me with something that's interesting from a financial perspective and from like a attention perspective, then we can go over the negotiations and see if we're both winning. But
exactly,
I think we both need to do work. The label needs to get better at having a better offering for the artist, and not just promise Spotify playlists and radio. Spotify playlists, okay, we're talking, but are you gonna try to get me on Rap Caviar, or you can't get me on Rap Caviar?
Yeah.
Second thing is the artist on his side needs to do a better job of coming to those negotiations prepared. That way he can understand what he's signing instead of just signing his masters away.
Yeah. One thing I want to speak of, so all this leading into Russ. So I know you're huge on Russ. You've been huge on Russ. But yeah, Russ is obviously a huge independent artist. He's probably like one of the best examples of that. But what he's established is quite impressive. And to anyone who listens who's trying to learn about the music industry and stuff, like regardless if you like Russ's music or not, you should check out his content. Like he's giving out free game about every niche that we're talking about. Bro, he's been through it all. He's been solo, then he went with the label for a bit. Now he's back on his own. He understands the game more than anyone.
Yeah.
Because he really does. And he's not afraid to just like expose the truth and give it for free. So to anyone, you could hate on him all you want. People say that he's like arrogant, this and that. Honestly, I don't even think that's true. I think it's just because he had a chip on his shoulder, like you're talking about. So he constantly had to prove himself.
Yeah.
Which anyone in that position would probably come off the same way, bro.
Yeah.
Because like if you understand the music industry, you understand how like to get where he was is really impressive.
Yeah.
Like the amount of things he had to make happen and did it successfully is really impressive. So I always say to anyone, like Russ is a great example to just learn
I
from.
feel like even if like you don't like music, like you can like apply a lot of, because like I like, you know, like I'll be watching sports and like I'll find like a specific weird sport, but like someone, if I see someone doing something that I like in whatever industry it is, I can always take the good from the bad.
Yeah,
I feel like people should check him out for sure.
yeah, definitely. How was it meeting him, by the way? I know you met him and you had like
Yeah.
made like a thing, a bunch of QR codes through beats or something. Like,
Yeah, so I got creative with it. So I want him. So I had like a crazy plan when I was gonna meet him. I was gonna like bet him like $100 that he was, because I was gonna show my beat and bet him $100 that he couldn't say it was trash, something like that. Then I forgot my wallet at home, so I couldn't do that. But yeah.
but what was it you'd done finally?
Finally I showed up with like a QR codes of like, and then when you put a phone next to it, a new beat shows up.
Oh, that's
I
kind of
did
cool.
that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I did had like a poster, and like when you rolled it up, when you rolled it out, the QR codes would show up.
Okay. See, that's smart though. You need to approach these people with like creative ways, because then he's gonna go home and remember like, yo, that kid with this stupid QR codes. Like it'll stick in his mind, right? It's not just another one like, yo, I make beats. You want to hear my beats? Like, imagine the amount of times he's heard that.
Yeah.
But for you to do something different, it'll actually stick with him. That's smart.
Yeah. No,
So
you're right.
marketing, bro, like marketing, it's so important to kind of think outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, like I always say this in almost every episode of the pod, but people that just put like a screenshot of like new beat out now or new song out now, it's like, who's gonna go, like what value is that really given?
Yeah.
You see the biggest songs and TikToks that do well, it's when people make it once again relatable. So they'll do like, yo, I wrote this song about my ex who cheated on me with my cousin, like something like super like, you know, like a story that people could relate to. And that pops because people relate to that caption and like, yo, and then the song is good usually as well.
Yeah.
So then yeah, but to just put like new song out now, it's like, bro, there's no incentive of people. There's so many good songs that drop each and every day. Why are people going to be like, oh, wow, okay. And like, you know, you need to kind of sell it in like a relatable way, especially before you have that huge fan base.
Yeah.
Once you're established, that's fine. People will go check it out, even if it's a screenshot. But to get there, like you say at the beginning, man, you got to get there. And I just feel like people always skip the first 10, 15 steps.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
they
like
see
kind of like romance, kind of like
yeah.
You have to kind of like romance your.
Yeah, you kind of do. You need to build a rapport. Like that's why me, like I know it's annoying, but all the IG stories I put, it's always my face, always me talking, because it's way more interactive. People that get to know me, like people literally feel like they become my friend over the time. And honestly, bro, I respond to everyone. I become friends with the people that follow me, like for real. And that is just like, it's a super valuable for me because I get to know these people, this and that, and valuable for them because it's the same thing. It's almost like we're building like some kind of friendship over social media. And like, if that's a genuine friendship, I'm not saying to be fake and befriend people just to out of getting followers and stuff. That won't work because you could see through that very easily. But if you genuinely like check in on your people and this and that and provide value, they're way more likely to go check out your stuff and support you. You know what I mean? Just because like if they like you as an individual, they're way more chances they're gonna go check out your beats and check out your music and check out like our pods or vlogs. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people kind of skip that step. I don't get it. There's such a psychological factor that goes into marketing, especially in music being so oversaturated.
Yeah.
People don't. I get it though. Like a lot of people don't have the personality for it, or they're not like they're camera shy. Let's say. But bro, if you really want to make it, you got to figure it out.
You have to figure out.
And there's other ways to leverage it too.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily need to show your face, but you need to think outside the box. You need to be different because now, yes, social media is such an amazing opportunity, but at the same time, that results into way more competition.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's easy to make beats in your bedroom now, but guess what? There's 4 million new people that are going to do the same thing as you. Exactly. So you need to find a way to stick out from those 4 million other people.
Yeah.
So it's like supply and demand, like you said, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
you know what I was telling my bro about this? I said, it's inflation, but for like skills. Like social media, it's like inflation because it gives more people the opportunity to do it, but then the competition also increases because everybody has the opportunity to do it.
Mm,
So it's like inflation, right? Kind of like when the government prints out money, so more people can buy stuff,
yeah,
but because more people can buy stuff, right, the prices go up.
it's true. It's
Yeah,
true. You're
yeah,
right. It's crazy, bro. But it's kind of fun though to like play the game.
yeah,
Like you know how it is. Like I've seen you and I messaged you about it recently. Like, you completely switched up your content maybe like a month or two ago. I don't know the
yeah,
timeline exactly. But when I saw that, I was like, hey, he has a winner's mentality.
yeah,
So many people that I'll see, they just stick to the same structure and content type. And like for some people it works and they're winning, but for the people that it's like eventually like you gotta be like, hey, this is not working, switch it up. And what's crazy is that what works for you might not work for the next person, and vice versa.
yeah,
What doesn't work for you might work for another person, but you have one way of doing it, and the only way you'll find out is if you keep testing things.
yeah,
So that's why when I saw you became more like an educational niche, which is what I did like last year, and look at where we're
yeah,
at now.
yeah,
Like when you just completely take a 360, you have to be patient with the initial plan though,
yeah,
give it a shot, but eventually you need to be realistic and get like, okay, I need to switch it up.
yeah.
Eventually something's bound to stick, and then you just double down on what works.
100%. And what's cool about switching things up is usually when you switch from one thing to another, you bring in the experience from all your previous stuff to the next
Exactly.
one. So like, yes, you're switching, but the next one you're coming in like so much
At
harder
at a higher level
at a
too.
higher level. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like even like the video, like you're better at editing, you're better at this, that, because you've gained those skills from the initial thing.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
So it's not like people that think, oh, I'm restarting from scratch. Like, not really, bro.
Yeah.
Because there's so much you learned in that first trial
Yeah.
that like you said is gonna bleed into the next one.
Exactly.
Again, I think it's a pride thing, bro. Like, even like people that don't like when I started the NSL page, like I didn't have a music page, right?
Mhm.
People would be like, yo, just like turn your personal page into your music page. I was like, nah, like I'd rather start from scratch, even
Yeah.
though I don't know, my personal IG has like maybe 1,000 followers or whatever. I'd rather start from zero, but build people that are actually there for the reason of supporting my music, rather than just have like all these people that follow me just because they know me on a personal level outside of music. So I didn't want to just force feed people like that. I wanted to build that core foundation of people that really follow my music. So I didn't mind swallowing the bullet of having 0 followers for X amount of time, and then look at where I'm at now. It outdid it real quick.
Yeah.
But I think people have pride again, or like starting a new TikTok page too. Like I had an old TikTok page I kept flopping because I was trying to like grow my music that way. And I was like, you know what? Boom. Screw what I've built on this so far. I'm not happy with it. I'd rather restart at 0. And that's when I started the educational stuff. And boom, it outdid it in like a month. So I think
Crazy.
people often get caught up in like, yeah, but like I'll lose the 800 followers I made. Yeah, but there's 8,000 followers you could gain on the other side if you just
Yeah.
switched it up. If you're
Exactly.
able to have the humility of having 0 followers for X amount of time, like no one's gonna remember or no one's gonna care down the line. It's just you. Guess
Yeah.
what? You scroll all the way down I never deleted anything from my IG. Go scroll to my first IG post. It was the logo behind me. I was like, yo, I just started making music. Boom, boom. There's no engagement with that. It was brand new.
Yeah.
But people, I guess they don't have that long-term vision.
Yeah. You gotta be in it for the long run.
Yeah, you do.
Gotcha.
And the people that win, usually it's
Yeah.
people that win long term, that's why they have the right
Yeah.
mentality. But
But
that's
you know what's fun though? As someone that you know that you're gonna be in it for a long time, it's nice to like come across people that you look at, you're like, oh, like I'm gonna see you later. Like for example,
yeah,
like
yeah,
NSL, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on them.
yeah,
One Track Mind.
yeah.
He's the kind of guy, Josh. If you're watching this later, it's the kind of guy that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see you in like lap 10. You know what I
Yo,
mean? Like,
that's a fact.
yeah.
There's some people that you just know, like,
Just
okay,
know,
you're
like,
here to stay.
yeah, you're here to stay. I'm
Not
gonna
just
see
to
you
stay,
later.
but we're gonna like grow together.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna grow together.
that's dope. That's like inspiring and motivating too.
Yeah.
When you have people in your circle that are like, even if it's in different industries, like we're
Yeah.
talking music now, but even outside of music, like if you see someone like really working on their grind,
Yeah,
it's so like inspiring,
I
bro.
love it.
And I think that's why like keeping your circle, like your close circle, like of people that are like-minded, of just like being like disciplined in whatever they're doing and always like chasing and working, that's super motivating too. Like your main friends, like even though my main friends are not in music,
Mhm.
like for example, George, who's pursuing med school, like he's killing it, bro. But to see him always like head down in the books, like grinding, and in the gym, this, that, like it's so important to have those people around you, bro. Because even though like he knows nothing about the music industry and I know nothing about med, it's still just as motivating. Like, hey, he's working, I'm working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just, as like a bond, you have that you could connect to someone who's like always kind of working on their craft.
Yeah.
It's not everyone has that.
Yeah.
And so it's dope to like relate to someone who's just chasing something that they've been like visioning for so long.
Super important.
It's really important, man.
But I was talking about that with my friend one time. Cause do you feel like, cause there's friends that I have that like I'm really close with. Oh,
Just pull it in a bit, yeah.
so there's friends that I have that I'm really really close with, but at the same time, like I know that they don't have the same habits as me,
Mm,
and you know I know that how important my close circle is, and obviously I want to spend more time with them. But I kind of had this struggle where I wasn't sure like how much time should I,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like
yeah,
that's my boy, like we're friends, but I know that like he doesn't like he's on Netflix a bit too much. Like
yeah.
he does this a bit too much. Like you know.
Well, I have a lot of friends, bro, and
Yeah.
like there's definitely different like I try to see it different that like every friend I have, literally every single one of them brings me a certain value that the other one doesn't.
Mm,
You know, they're all there for a reason.
okay.
And yes, maybe some have better habits than others, let's say. But at the same time, like I love each and every people that I deal with, like you, like Juber, like Marin, like
Mm,
everyone that they bring me a different kind of value that I need as like a person.
mm,
And so if you start seeing it that way, I think it helps because as long as you're not around when they're doing the things that you might deem as like that bringing you down, I think if they're bringing you that value when you're with them and stuff, then it's only going to bring you up. But I think the problem is if, and I get it, you were thinking it as of like a time thing, like spending. I don't think it's necessarily time. I think it's more, it comes down to like when you're with that person physically, like what's going down, whether it's 30 minutes, whether it's 3 hours. Like, I just think you need to start thinking like, okay, why is this person in my life? And then be like, okay, that's why, pinpoint it. And then as long as when you're surrounded by that person, that value is being, exchanged, you to them to you, then I
okay.
don't think it's going to bring you down that much.
Okay. That's a
Rather
great
than
way to think
rather than
about
it
it.
being time, I think it's more like the yeah, there's like everyone that's in your life is there for a reason. And
Yeah.
and if not, then you should get them out of your life.
Yeah.
But some boys that I only see, like I don't see you often,
Yeah.
but you bring me so much value still.
Yeah.
And when we talk like through DMs and whatever, it's always like game, it's always like supportive and this and that. So it's like that's super valuable to me, right?
Yeah.
Even though I might not see you as much as like a different friend who I don't know, I train with or whatever, like it's just different. But
Yeah.
it's just as valuable, but it's just completely a different kind of value. So yeah, I have friends too that like maybe they're not up to the best, like habits are not the best, but at the same time it's like they're there for a reason still. And as long as you as an individual you don't get distracted by the things that you might deem as like inappropriate or just like that it's bringing you down,
Mm-hmm.
then you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like I don't game, I don't watch Netflix, but like almost all of my friends do. But it's not like I can't be like, oh, I need to chill less with this person because they watch Net. Like it makes no sense.
No, you're right. You're
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I
you're
understand where you're coming from though. But I think it's just a question of like when you're with that person, what are you getting down to?
Yeah.
Versus like what you do in your spare time. I get it. There's still a huge aspect because we were talking about like you could relate to people that are hungry and stuff. I think your core circle still needs to be that though.
Interesting.
But I don't know. That's a topic it's hard to know really. You kind of
Yeah.
just like that's just kind of how I perceive it.
But I like your answer though. I like your answer because you are getting value
Yeah.
from everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a question of like what are you doing when you're with them and also the value you're getting back.
Exactly. Exactly. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't have a psychology degree, but hopefully that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Okay, I want to switch gears, bro. I want to go to this whole exposure thing.
Wait, did we talk about Russ? We need to talk about
barely. We talked about meeting him.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
We could talk about him again, though.
No, it's all good.
What do you want to talk about for him?
Nah, he's a chill dude. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a few songs together. Yeah, definitely.
He's the type that would, though, man.
I'm telling you.
We were talking about giving earlier.
Yeah.
Bro, this guy gives like crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen, like, for a long time, he was doing, like, the remix challenges.
Yeah,
the open verse challenges.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, he's putting on people that are, like, tiny.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's, like, looking for people with clout. He doesn't care for that.
Yeah.
Like, if he likes the verse, and he reacts to so many of them. Like, he actually watches them, bro.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, this is the best one. I don't care if you have 900 followers. Like, yeah, this is lit. Boom.
This is
On
lit.
the official remix, bringing some out to shows, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy is given, man.
Nah, he is.
To anyone who's saying like the whole arrogance thing and stuff, I just think you didn't dig deep enough to
Yeah.
really see.
Yeah,
Because
for
bro,
sure.
he's really putting people on, and like, and Connor Price too. We were talking about that. Like he's doing the around the world challenges there.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
where he like spins the globe.
Spin the globe or whatever it's called. Yeah,
Yo, Connor Price is hard, man. Like,
he's a marketing, like he's really,
and he's good with marketing too.
and his music's actually good too.
Yeah.
But like,
So I said the music.
yeah, yeah, I'm just all in for marketing because I
Yeah.
think it's more important than the music.
Honestly.
People hate when I say that.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, for that, I'd say marketing is way more important than music. But I will say that longevity wise, it's the music.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Because to have that long term fan base, you do need quality music as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, is there anybody? I mean, obviously, music is subjective, but there's no artist that's big that I don't like their music.
Like huge artists.
Huge artists.
Well, okay, the ones, yeah, because you're right. The ones that have great marketing but no skill or talent, they very short lived. Like they'll be
Like-
popping for like a year or two, but then it's
Yeah.
like, doesn't last.
Yeah.
Yeah, the longevity aspect. You're right though. All the biggest names up there, bro, in any
But
industry.
I also feel like music, like once you're big enough, you can get your music good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
once you're big enough, you
Well,
can
yeah,
work with the best
exactly,
producers.
bro.
Yeah, you're right.
So-
So, on that point, I do agree with you.
Like in a Q&A episode we had a few episodes ago, it was like, what's more important, like consistency or quality?
Mhm.
Like I think to grow the initial fan base, it's consistency.
Yeah, 100%.
Because every time you put that song out, the next one will be a bit better. Because it's like practicing, right? Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna improve. So yeah, at the beginning when you have a tiny following, it's like a 6 on 10, say, quality. But it's like every time if you improve a bit, that by the time you have a huge audience, it's gonna follow. The
Yeah.
trend will follow with like the quality of your stuff too.
Yeah.
So for someone to hold back on a song and try to make it perfect, next thing you know, they lost 2 years of their time
Yeah,
where they could have established like a bit of a following or whatever and just learn and practice.
and just learn exactly.
So at the beginning, I do understand though, once you're established and big, like, yeah, you do need to deliver on the quality side.
Mm.
But at the beginning, like, I think you just need to build that following and understand that you won't be competing with like Travis. You won't be competing with the big names at the beginning. It's not realistic to think
Yeah,
that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, to just always level up. As long as every single time your TikTok videos are getting a bit better, your songs getting a bit better, like your mixing's getting a bit better, then it's all gonna work out.
yeah,
Because it won't be perfect, especially at the beginning when, like you said, when you don't have like the connections and resources with those top, you can't compete with the top level. It's impossible.
sometimes you can. It's hard to compete, but sometimes the authenticity of you not being as big as them,
It's inspiring.
it's inspiring.
Yeah, because even people watching this, like they're happy that I'm not that big because they know it's more attainable.
Exactly.
Like if
yeah.
I was here sitting with like 100 million followers, it'd be like, yeah, but you have 100 mil. It's like, yeah, but like I have like a 10, 20,000, let's say, but it's like that's pretty attainable,
Yeah.
right? So it is inspiring for like that middle range. People always think like A-list celebrity, yeah, but like not a Z-list celebrity, but like a middle of the pack celebrity,
Yeah.
or not just celebrity, but like an influencer or whatever.
Yeah.
Like those provide a lot of value too because they could actually teach the ones just getting going.
Yeah.
Once you're so big, it's like
and you're more relatable. Like it's,
exactly.
once you get to such a big level, you have to remember how it was when you were
Exactly.
broke to like be able to speak to the people, right?
Exactly. No, that's it. I think that's why it's working for now. But anyways, yeah, like I sometimes when I was younger, when I was earlier in the game, I would watch people and yeah, if they were too big, it would almost turn me off because I'd be like, okay, it's impossible to get there. How do I get there?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So someone in the middle of the pack is like super valuable to learn
Yeah.
from. So yeah. Okay, I'm down for the exposure talk.
Yeah, exposure. Let's do it.
So
Shout out to exposure.
yeah, shout out exposure. So this is someone you started working for more recently, from what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Now, if you could get a bit of a breakdown of like what they represent, what they do, who they are. You told me they reached out to me recently,
Yes, they have.
and I need to speak to you about that because I don't think it was their main page. It was probably a personal profile of one of the founders,
Okay.
and I don't know who it is, so I'll have to dig and look. But I remember the name and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us your experience on that, how it's been.
100%.
Yeah, teach the kids.
So exposure. What's up? So can I get a feel for like who's watching and stuff like that?
So most
what's
of
your
my
audience?
audience is independent artists, upcoming artists, musicians, producers,
Okay, perfect.
people that want to learn on like building a fan base, getting more streams.
Perfect.
You know, kind of the same thing we're in it for, but
Okay.
really getting going. You know, they're like they have skill, they have good music, but they need to find people to listen to it. Basically,
Okay, this is perfect. So this is everybody that's watching probably needs to go check out Exposure. So Exposure, what they do is that they're basically a LinkedIn for musicians. So they connect upcoming artists, upcoming music fans, music, someone that wants to work in the music industry. They connect you with someone that works at, the big name record labels, the big name music tech companies. So you'll have A&Rs from like Universal, Sony, Warner Bros. You have sound engineers, you have producers, and basically this platform, it allows you to go on a Zoom call with them, and the prices range from like $50 to $150, and you could actually book a one-on-one Zoom call with them. And this is cool because, in instead of DMing people or messaging people through email and spending hours doing that, where you could maybe get one response out of 10, you can get a confirmed booking with those people, and you can get a one-on-one call with them. They can give you game on like whether your beat is good, whether your song is good. They can help you with your marketing rollout campaign. And honestly, the best reason is just making that initial connection.
Like the networking
The
aspect of it?
networking aspect, 100%. Like me, I got on a call with someone that works at Universal, and I did that without the exposure platform. I did that on my own. I DM'd them saying, "Hey, like, I want to pay you $100. He's a digital marketer at
Oh,
Universal."
dope.
I got on a one-on-one call with them, and it was crazy the amount of information I got for that little money.
Like, what kind of info was he providing you, though?
So he was basically, I approached him as someone that wanted to work at Universal
Okay.
as a digital marketer, which I still did before I got offered a job at Exposure. But he just showed me exactly what I need to work at Universal as a digital marketer. He showed me all the newsletters I needed to be following to exactly know everything going on in the music industry at every second of the day.
Okay.
He showed me like new TikTok trends that he got from the newsletter every single day, and he also gave me a ton of behind the scenes knowledge of like kind of like how the record labels are structured and how what they look into for signing a new artist. How does it work to book and get signed with a label like Universal, or the third party partners they work with, um, who are making the decisions regarding when an artist is touring, why they make those
Yo, this
decisions.
is cool.
Like a lot of like deep stuff that like I wouldn't have got if we weren't on
Yeah.
a Zoom call talking. So um, this platform I think could be the start of a lot of good for the music industry because their sole goal is to help upcoming artists.
Okay.
So I feel like if I was able to benefit from that as like a producer wanting to intern at a label, I think artists are definitely going to be able to
And
benefit.
and do they use that on their end, like the
Mhm.
the labels and stuff? Do they use that for scouting artists too? Meaning, like, if they rock with you, like they're gonna go deeper than just a call, or I don't know.
100%. So the other cool thing is that labels can now do their scouting through the platform.
Okay, dope.
And like, because they're obviously always looking for new talent, but I guess it's hard when like when your email is flooded with like a bunch
Yeah,
of
exactly. Spam and
submissions.
stuff. Like,
Yeah. So now they're only gonna get people that are like willing to invest in like.
that's how you know people are serious.
That's why you know people are serious. You
Yeah.
put the money, like put your money where your mouth is. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Because a lot of people, like, bro, even me being like tiny compared to these, my
Yeah.
DMs are flooded too. And that's why, like, you were talking about exposure messaging me and stuff. I get so many messages from brands and stuff, but like some are completely like scammers or spammy and stuff. So it's like, it is usually easy to detect or like to determine which one's a scam account versus not. But
Yeah.
you got to be careful. Like, I remember you got your IG hacked. That always scared me,
That
bro.
was a
when that
blessing
happened.
though.
It was a blessing in disguise, but that's
Yeah.
only because you have an optimistic mindset, though. You
That-
know,
that
a
is
lot of
that
people
is-
straight up, like, that would discourage a lot of people out of it. Like, being in like the thousands of followers and be like, yo, like, to restart is tough, bro.
Yeah.
And you did it. Like, you've caught up to yourself. Like, you did it. But that's
Yeah.
literally a mindset thing. You were just like, you know what, whatever. It's a blessing in disguise. There's a reason,
Yeah.
and you restructured it, and it's working for you now. But man, so that's why I'm always scared when I get
Yeah.
like those brand deal offers and stuff.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
done a
true.
few. I've done
Yeah.
a few when like I really speak to the person. I'm not gonna like partner up with a brand unless I really like their business. Like, fundamentally, I'll need to believe in the business. I'm not just gonna sell out and be like, oh, you're gonna pay me $300? Yeah, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I dig, bro. Like, I'll look into the business, how it's structured. I need to actually like the service or
Yeah.
product that they're offering,
Yeah.
because or else I just feel like it's not authentic of me to go ahead and push something
100%.
that I disagree with or that I think is like a scam or whatever,
Yeah.
So I'm picky with it. I'm
Yeah.
picky with it. I'd rather just not make the $300 and just keep it like authentic with my people, especially that people that like, bro, I'm not gonna, my audience is people that are like loyal to me. I'm not gonna push on something that I don't believe in, right?
Exactly. But
Teach.
I feel like when you're at that level, you're gonna get hit regardless.
Oh my God.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like even on my tiny scale, like
Yeah.
I get trolled
you
all the
get
time.
trolled all the
Oh
time?
yeah, for the pod and stuff. Like people come across the pod, people that don't never seen it, and they're like, anyone could start a podcast nowadays. Like who let these white boys with a microphone? Like it happens all
That's
the
so
time, but it's
funny.
just like what it's crazy, bro. Because every time I reply to like a hate comment or troll comment, I just show love. Like I don't get defensive
You're
about
like,
it.
oh my God, I know you're gonna play.
And then they apologize.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, they're like, yo, either they say like, yo, I was just kidding, like my bad, like I'm just trolling. Another guy was like, yo, I'll be honest, like when I drink too much, I like commenting on videos and like I didn't mean it, like I wish you the best. Like
Yeah.
every time you kind of show them love in return, they're kind of like, damn, like this is a real person.
It's a real person.
Straight up, people on the internet forget that we're actual humans, that like we go through the same emotions and shit that like they do.
Yeah.
And once you respond to them in like a human like matter, rather than be
feel
defensive and be
bad.
like, screw you, they're like, oh damn. And they kind of like sobers them up from like that whole like, it's crazy. But when people see you on a screen, they really kind of forget. Even these huge influencers, you forget that these are real people.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, bro. The whole like hate culture, because it's like, it could be not for you, but guess what? You could scroll right past it instead.
Yeah.
Like that's why there's an option to scroll. If it's
Yeah.
not for you, like I've never dropped a hate comment ever in my life.
Yeah.
Like the fact that people could like, take the time out of their day to try to bring a stranger down who's just
It's-
trying to pursue something they enjoy, to me,
it's
I just can't wrap
wild.
my mind around it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, oftentimes it's like your own, like you're not, something's off. You know
Yeah,
what
it's
I
an
mean?
insecurity.
It's
Yeah,
like you're mad about something.
try to tear someone down.
Yeah. It's all inwards. It's all.
Unfortunately, yeah. I think a lot of it too, and actually this is kind of a topic I want to talk about later too, but yeah, like if people don't believe in their own dreams, then they try to bring other people down, because like how dare you try to pursue it? Like
Yeah.
it's impossible, just
Yeah.
because they don't believe in themselves, right?
Yeah.
But that's a psychological thing, I guess, that a lot of people go through. And the
Yeah.
internet is such an easy way to just like to do that, because it's
Yeah.
like you could be anonymous. It's not like if people were sitting next to me here, all my hate comments, if they were all my hate
No way,
comments,
yeah.
they would be like just like normal dudes,
Regular people,
and be
yeah.
nice and kind and cordial. But the internet just removed that whole filter of like respecting strangers. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing, but it's kind of like you forget that it's real people you're typing to when you
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
But you can't let that affect you. Like for me, I never try to overvalue the love, and I never try to overvalue the hate.
That's the way to do it.
Cause bro, like if you're seeking validation and if that's how you stay motivated, you're gonna fail, bro.
Yeah.
Because like, or you're just gonna get a huge ego. Like I get beautiful messages like of people that either artists that listen or just fans that listen to my music, or artists that are trying to learn and this that either from the pod or shorts or my music, whatever. But if I value that, I really appreciate it. Like it means the world to me. But it never like, you know what I mean? Like I never let it get to me to the point that it kind of like changes my perspective on like being motivated and stuff. Like I'm gonna be motivated regardless if I get that text or not. It is flattering to read, and I appreciate each and every one of them. But if I overvalued those, then every time I'd have a comment on one of my YouTube shorts or TikToks that would be like a troll comment, like I was saying, I'd be like, damn, like okay, maybe maybe I should switch it up, or maybe I should stop. Like you can't let that, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's
But
a dangerous
It's hard
game.
to ignore the love though. When the love is coming, it's hard to not value it.
Well, it's not that I ignore it. It's just that you don't let it kind of like feed you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just like you really like I always take the time to respond and be like, yo, thank you so much. It means the world to me, because it actually does. But I won't let that like fuel me up to go make another TikTok and that. Like regardless, I'm just gonna do my thing. And when I
Take
get
it,
that, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
kind of
kinda take
disconnect
it,
from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take it and then you store it away. But like I still appreciate it so much. It sounded like I don't care. It's
Yeah.
just that you can't find motivation through that, because or
Yeah.
else you're bound to eventually run into trouble. Of like
Yeah.
if one day you post a few videos that all flop, let's say if you're just looking at views and this and that, you're gonna give up, bro.
Yeah.
Like some songs that I put up, they don't even hit 1,000 plays. And if I valued that of like, and then I'd stop. I'd
Yeah.
burn out.
Yeah.
So you need to find the motivation. We talked about that a few episodes again too. You need to find that internally. Like if you're having fun with it and you purely enjoy it, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
Like eventually one song will do better than the other, but like who cares? Just keep shooting, bro. And eventually it'll hit. Like
100%.
there's a lot of psychological factors that go into like the whole business world and music world
It's
and social
crazy.
media world. It's crazy.
It's a huge mind game.
It is, bro. Like this whole NSL thing taught me so much, just outside of music itself. Like
Yeah,
just the human mind and like like consumer behavior.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like this whole thing is like a big like
It's a big
marketing
project.
experiment
Yeah,
almost. Like I just really learned so much, bro. Like I
yeah.
see people like moving different or this that. Like it's just crazy. I find it cool.
Do you feel like you understand business better now that you have NSL?
Definitely.
Yeah,
I'm lucky that I studied business in school. I never knew why, but I just didn't know what else to do. And I was like, I think marketing and finance are two, no matter what I do in life, are
yeah,
going to be two factors that I'll need to understand. Whether I work for a business or I have my own, you need to know these things because anything you do in life is going to be related to a business,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that's why I went into that. And then I found music around the same time. And I think it taught me a lot, like the education side, it taught me a lot, but then experience it's a whole different game.
yeah,
It's like theory versus practice, bro. You
yeah,
know, once you see it and experience it, it's just like, I'm so happy, bro. Like it
yeah,
taught me so much. Because even now, if I start a business outside of music, say,
yeah,
I'll have a huge leverage over
yeah.
like things that I've learned doing the music thing. It's crazy, but it's super valuable,
Yeah,
super
I
dope.
feel the exact same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome, bro. Like we're lucky. We're lucky.
Like before I got a job as teaching programming.
Okay.
The only reason why I got this job is because I spent my whole summers when I was in at Queens building my own website
Okay.
for my own like personal like for my own music.
Mm-hmm.
So I built my streaming platform and like learning how to do that is the only like that's the only reason why I got the job
Boom.
for teaching programming.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's almost like a portfolio.
Yeah.
Like like me, let's say if I wanted to be a social media manager for like a business, like if they saw my IG and TikTok and this, that, they'd be like, damn, like it's credibility that you
Yeah.
have for yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you change lanes and it's no longer music related, whatever, like just starting a brand, this, that, like your website, bro. It's like
Yeah.
it's credibility. So it's like even if you're just doing it for fun and like it doesn't lead to anything in that regards, it could lead to something even bigger in a different direction. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. By the way though, when I was talking to one of my friends that are from the record label, like what he was telling me about like digital marketer, like for example, I don't know why, but I just kept on thinking of you and like, cause like all the criteria he was telling me for like all the digital marketers at Universal, it's like you fit exactly that. I swear, I'm not even kidding.
Oh, thank you, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I
Thank you.
think if you ever want, I don't know if it's something that you ever like thought about doing, but
Hmm.
if it's something that you didn't think of before, it's definitely something that you could do if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's something I definitely like enjoy doing it, but it's
Mhm.
like since I put so much time into NSL, like I want to put like I have my job that is great and I love
Yeah,
it. And then NSL is like all those skills I want
yeah.
to apply it to NSL
I
just
feel you.
because I'm trying to grow it, right?
Yeah, I
But
feel
you're
you.
so right though that as like a backup plan or
Yeah,
something, let's say, because who knows in a few years, like if my passion change, I really doubt it. But you
yeah,
never know where life will take you. So
yeah,
the skills that I've developed, you're right. I could put them elsewhere.
yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate that though.
No, no,
It's
for
very
sure.
kind. Since we're talking about kind of like hate comments or like the whole psychological aspect of
Yeah,
people, this is something I want to talk about. It's something I never talked about on the pod, a bit through my music, but never conversationally.
yeah.
So I think this would be dope. So basically, the topic is white people in hip hop. That's what I want to talk about.
Ooh,
Now,
that's a big
it's a big
topic.
topic, I know. So that's why I'm bringing it up now in case it goes
Yeah.
long.
Ooh, I like this. I
Um,
like this.
so obviously, as you guys can see, if you're watching this, we don't share the same skin tone. Sakia and I, well, Quemo and I. Sorry, I used your first name. So I'm
Yeah,
just,
you could call
I'm,
me Sakia. It's
yeah.
okay.
All this to say, like, I feel like, cause my music, I feel like moved away from hip hop more and more.
Yeah,
Like, there's a lot of pop music I make now and stuff too. I don't know how much you listen to my music, but
yeah,
it's still like I can't deny that it's under the umbrella of modern day hip hop, right?
yeah.
Like especially at the very beginning, because the NSL producers I work with, they're heavily hip hop inspired, especially
Mhm.
like Bean and Dusty. They're really hip hop inspired, like trap inspired and all that. So those are the beats I would be fed, right? So it was like very hip hop oriented. I'm still within that branch, but I think I'm doing a lot more pop music and stuff because I think naturally that's where like my talent is
Mhm.
is at. But undeniably so that I'm in a black kind of pocket,
Yeah,
right? Like that's like a black sport, how I see it.
yeah,
Now, what I find crazy, and I really want to talk about this with you, is that obviously I before I made music, it's not never something that like obviously I always knew and everyone knows that hip hop is a predominantly black game, but to be in it was like a whole, complete different experience.
mhm,
There's a few things I want to talk about this. Me as a white person in your world,
yeah,
I've found it, and I've people that are close with me. I've opened up about this because it blew my mind.
mhm,
But bro, I swear to you, the people that I've dealt with in the music world, black people have been way more welcoming and way more supportive and less judgmental than the white people.
That's crazy.
So and it's almost like it blows my mind because it's almost like reverse racism that in your world. I've never walked into a room full of black folk that are in the music world, whether we're recording or just talking to, like they don't even need to be in music, but just supportive about the whole NSL thing. I get more fake love and more like judgmental looks from white people, like the skeptics and stuff.
Yeah.
It's often I could see it because you could feel the fake love. I'm sure you do too, right? When people is really like you really rock with me, like I know who really rocks with me.
I've had those for sure.
But you have those people that like they follow your IG page and stuff, but it's just to kind of keep tabs and to be like curious of like, oh, is he really gonna make it? And like they don't, you know what I mean? Like fake love, right? Whether it's
I've had both from the same person though.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
we'll get into that after. That's crazy. I don't think I've experienced both
person.
yet, but me from day one, I've kind of known who's who and which side you side on. Some do switch up though when you start getting legit. Like now that I have like tens of thousands of followers, people are like, yo, like you know that new song go crazy, but yeah. Name me three songs before that. No, you can't do that. Anyway, so whether it's people that I knew in my personal life before pursuing music, most of that comes from there. Because most of my audience and stuff is not people I know, right? It's people that came across me on social media and stuff, or that I've met, whatever. But there is the like at this point, pretty much everyone in my personal life knows I make music. It's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
So I really noticed this, bro, that like the white folks, they kind of give me like a different, they kind of judge it.
Yeah.
And even though like I'm saying now I'm branching out of hip hop, more like pop and R&B and but those are still like the music industry as a whole is more black.
Yeah.
Like, you know, predominantly.
Yeah.
And
to be honest, I feel like nowadays, I feel like it's a blend, you know what I mean?
Well, now it's crazy.
Now it's like there's no real genre. It's like
exactly
it's like
genres are disappearing.
Just making music at this point,
bro.
You know
people like XXX, rest in peace, but he was one of the pioneers, I think, of just like saying screw genres.
Yeah, like,
you listen to his project, he'll have like 10 different
Spanish
genres.
songs,
Yeah, he had every single genre. So you're right, genres are dying out, but still, like the culture of hip hop is the most dominant culture in popular culture right now.
Yeah.
And it bleeds outside of music too. It goes into sports and stuff too, but more music focused. I always found it when I started experiencing that, I was really confused. And again, it's nothing, never something I experienced before.
Was it like comments or was it just people in person?
A bit of both. I would say it's more like the energy you feel.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you feel the fake love versus the real love. I felt a lot more judgment coming from white people.
Yeah.
And I honestly think, bro, that, and I don't know because I can't speak for them, but I think like it's just because themselves as like a white person, they're like, oh, like I can't do that, so how could he do that when he's in my pocket?
Yeah,
you
it's
feel
the same
me?
thing. Yeah.
So like I don't know. Just like it's hard to explain because I'm just seeing it from my perspective, but it was just for me, it was such an interesting like feeling.
Yeah.
Like I've never had that feeling from someone who didn't share my skin tone. And I'm not saying it's all white people, by the way. It's a small niche, but I just found it like kind of fascinating. I think it's like they're kind of like, yo, how dare you do that? Like that's not your space. So I always found that, I don't even know how to explain it. I just find it weird, bro.
No, I think you said it. It's inward. It's how people feel inside, and they're just, you know, projecting that onto other people.
Projection is probably the right word.
I think it's because like we all see life. You, me, we all see life a certain way, right? So when we're talking to the outside world, we're just projecting our own views onto the outside world. We all do it. It's not bad or good, but like we get certain situations like that one where like I can't possibly see myself doing something like that. Therefore, this is weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
But it's just like I find it's a bit of like it's kind of immature though. You know what I mean? And now, but what's crazy though, I wanted to kind of grow onto that and go into like now the hip hop industry is filled with white people.
Yeah.
Like if you think of the biggest names in hip hop now, like you have Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
Post Malone, I know he's also in the pop world, but still. Kid Laroi, also another big pop artist, but he's still in the hip hop world.
Love it.
But these are some of the biggest artists in the music industry right now.
Yep.
But they're primarily hip hop inspired, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's getting kind of weird that like that's still like an issue when like it's hypocritical because it's like I feel like the white guy's only cool once he's big. Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yo, that's because like for you guys, I feel like it's harder to break in, But once you've broken into it, then it's like
then it goes crazy.
Then it goes crazy, yeah.
So it's kind of like the skepticism thing we were talking about before on an unrelated topic, but I feel like we go through that a bit. Maybe it's the chip on the shoulder thing where it's like, and I understand it legit, because the biggest thing that turns me off in being in this world, being my skin tone, is because like I understand a lot of people that look like me are doing it for the wrong reasons. Or like the biggest pet peeve of me, the thing that I cringe the hardest is like people that cap rap, that like talk about like things that really there ain't
like,
about.
We know you don't live there, man.
Exactly. Like bro, and me, I think the reason why I'm so respected from people that hear my music and stuff, the only things I sing about or rap about is literally like love, like personal things, like family problems, relationship problems. It's real life things. Like it's like emotions. Like you could tell I'm not capping in my raps, you know? But I think that's what gave us such a bad credibility, is these little random kids that like come in the game and like, it's disrespecting the culture, in my opinion. And like, this might be a hot take too, but the kid Mabu, who's popping right now,
Lil Mabu,
marketing genius.
I love Lil Mabu,
but at the same time, like, is that disrespecting hip hop culture as a whole though?
I mean,
it's hard to debate though before you go, because I do understand that he's chilling with Lil Durk, he's chilling with like, so I don't think it's intentional. I'm not blaming him as an individual, but maybe those instances are what create the skepticism of white people in hip hop. Because it's like, you can almost argue like he's taking advantage of a vulnerability in society, being like gang violence and all that thing. Like those aren't, no one wants to live through that. Unfortunately, some people are just, they come to this world into those realities. Like we were saying before, you don't have a choice. But for people to kind of monetize and take advantage of it, that's where I kind of, and I'm using Mabu only because he's doing amazing and good for him. But there's a part of me that it's like, there's like an uncomfortable feeling of like, where do you cross the line of like, okay, like now you're taking advantage of like a culture that's not yours. You know what I mean? Like that's where I don't know where I sit with it. And maybe that's what leads to all these people being so skeptical.
Yeah. I think honestly, man, when it comes down to the whole white people in hip hop, I think hip hop should be the kind of thing where everybody should be able to join in. And I don't think there's any rules to how you do it. I think what Lil Mabu is doing is he's kind of playing a character.
Yeah, he's like a meme, basically.
He's kind of like a meme. Yeah. He's memeing himself, basically.
But do you think that approach, it works in the short term, but do you think longevity he's going to last?
I think I think he can't do the same character for a long time. He's eventually going to have to evolve to something that's a bit more.
Yeah, because in my opinion, he's taking a bit of the Tekashi route right now, where he's being like really like, not controversial, but you know what I mean? Like really like, he memed himself.
Yeah, he memed himself. Yeah.
So it works for TikTok, this, that, and good for him. But I do think he'll have to kind of evolve his brand to stay relevant, right? Like maybe his music or the way he markets himself, like he can't be that rich white kid forever.
Forever.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
So he's established that foundation. Now I think his next few moves are going to be critical for his long-term success or failure.
Yeah.
Because it could be a fad, but I'm not saying it's impossible that he sticks around forever, but I think he will have to like evolve something.
Yeah. I really like his just the fact that, because like, you know, once you start to record music, you appreciate artists for different reasons.
Absolutely.
So for him, I just like his vocal execution, like to be able to have that voice.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, so I think music wise, he's got enough package there, but I agree with you. I think he needs to evolve. He can't just do the same thing.
Yeah, but like not to take away, like he's been genius about it all.
He's been smart.
He's been hilarious with it. It's quite entertaining, which is I think why people stick with him so much. It's funny. Yeah. But like long term, like I hope that he finds a way to like kind of stay relevant long term.
Yeah.
Because it could just be like, you know, like a meme. Like
even drill as a genre, drill is super hot right now.
It is hot.
And I think it's gonna stay hot for a long time. But like it's also a genre of music. So like people that are making drill need to also like make other kinds, you know what I mean? You
have some huge, really talented artists that kind of get stuck in that, where they kind of oversaturate their own sound, and then people just get tired of it.
Yeah.
If you're down for AI, we could get into it.
100% AI.
So I've spoken about this a couple of times, like when Devo was here and stuff, more on like the radio industry and how that'll react to the whole AI thing. But we had talked about it quick, so I'm down to talk about it now, AI and music, and how AI is going to take over not only the music industry, but everything. And so I'm curious to see your take on this, like if you see it through like a positive lens or through like a negative, threatening lens. Obviously, you saw like the whole Drake and Weeknd song that's
Yeah.
popping, going crazy. So many AIs now that are just recreating
Yeah.
songs and stuff. As a producer, like, how are you approaching this? How do you think it's gonna like shake the industry and like your pros and cons, like just your whole perception on the whole thing?
Yeah, so AI is definitely something that it's a bittersweet because you like it, but then it also scares you because you don't really understand everything going on. So for me, um, it's kind of hard to say because on the music side, if AI theoretically does not, destroy us completely, like on the negative side, I think it's gonna do a lot of good for the music industry because at the end of the day, I'm a music fan. So whatever can get the best music into my ears, whether it's me that makes it, whether it's a robot that makes it, at the end of the day, I'm happy. That's what makes me happy, right?
Yeah.
It's hearing those thumping 808s or hearing that soulful college dropout sample or hearing like those kind of things. So if we're in a system that is able to generate better experiences with music that us humans can do, then the more the better.
Mm.
But the only part that scares me is a part more from like a human side.
Yeah.
For example, like if they do everything better than us, then we don't have jobs. Are we still satisfied with that? Are we still happy? That's more the part that scares me. But I'm not really scared of like, oh, like maybe they make beats better than us. Like I don't care about that stuff. I'm more of like, it's either amazing from a human consumer perspective, or it's bad from a global like
Yeah,
across the world. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly. Yeah. It's true because I do think that like, we were talking about that human element and all that. I think that needs to stay in music as well.
Mm,
So like, having like that relatable person or like um that authenticity factor we were talking about that.
yeah.
I don't know if we get to a point where we could mimic that with bots, we're done. So
Yeah.
it's too late. But
Yeah.
I do think for a while at least that human factor will still be important. So like
100%.
yes, you could make like a Drake and Weeknd AI banger,
Yeah.
but like will the individual who made that actually get the recognition? I don't know. Like I do feel like you still need like that human like tangible like
Yeah.
you made that song. Like I don't know. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but for at least the near future, I think that's how it'll be.
Yeah. I agree.
What I do find interesting when we are talking about it with Devo, one of the boys brought up the point of like, how now we have like, yeah, obviously you have like artists, you have producers, you have DJs, right?
Yeah.
Like different pockets. But at one point, like DJs didn't exist, right? It was like a new thing. And then like, but what if like this AI creator becomes like a new and it'll have like its own name, like
Yeah.
a new kind of music
Yeah.
musician.
I'm an AI DJ.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it would
yeah.
have its own name.
Yeah.
Whereas like nowadays there's huge festivals of just DJs.
Of
Whereas
just
like 50
DJs,
years
yeah.
ago, people would be like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
So like maybe that's like a new niche that'll like, like let's say you would come
Yeah.
sit on my pod, but you'd just be like an AI
Yeah.
music maker.
Like, what do you do? Oh yeah, I just create the craziest AI models.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's where it's gonna go too. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll become its own. Who knows?
I think it is because it's like AI prompting, right?
Yeah.
It's like giving the best recommendations for what.
Yeah,
you wanna hear,
exactly.
yeah.
I think the only factor to me that I find fascinating is how quickly it's evolving.
Yo.
Like if we think a year ago, if we would be having a whole different conversation about AI.
Yeah, but because ChatGPT didn't exist.
Not to the public. Well, not really.
ChatGPT was probably like the craziest like night and day like situation
Yeah.
that I've seen.
I know. So you see, if it only becomes more and more present, because now it's on all social media apps, it's on search engines, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, where do we cross the line of like, hey, it's too much? Now there's still a distinguishable like, you're on your phone physically. You could put the phone down and be real life. I just fear once there's like kind of like a no distinguishing
yeah,
like factor between like. Now it's going to be the VR set. Okay, so you could take it off. But what happens when it's like kind of like both reality and this
It's like
whole
in
like
your
technology
eyes.
merges?
Yeah.
That's when it's like, okay, that's scary, bro. Because
Yeah.
then it's like there's no distinguishing factor between the two. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. But I don't know, man. I guess time will tell. I guess
Yeah.
time will tell. But it'll be crazy to see how the music industry works. I mean, you saw how they reacted to that song. Like the labels freaked out. They made Spotify take it down right away.
But so it was on Spotify.
It was, yeah, because it was this random dude who uploaded it
That's crazy.
through like probably DistroKid or something like
Yeah.
that, and then it got millions and millions and millions of streams because
Yeah.
it popped on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then the labels were like, no way, you can't be getting all this money
makes
from a fake
sense.
draft. Yeah.
Of course.
So I think that's what's going to be interesting is how the legal sides of it, you know, it's like modern day
Yeah.
sampling almost, right? It'll probably have to go
Exactly.
through
They'll have
the
to clear it.
labels and
Yeah.
get approved by the artist and cleared by the team of like, okay, you could use this voice to say.
Yeah.
Because what's controversial too is if they make these artificial voices say things that like Drake wouldn't say or something that's really controversial, then it's like,
Yeah.
is that defamation of character? You know,
Yeah.
it gets complicated.
Yeah. I think what's gonna happen with those AI deep fakes, I think what's gonna happen is that they're gonna be on YouTube, SoundCloud, and TikTok because you can upload whatever you want on those.
Right.
And then the next time one of those songs pops out, I'm predicting this. Like the next time a free AI pops out like that one,
Yeah.
if the label is smart, they keep it on the streaming platforms, let it bubble up, drop an official music video with the actual artist, and release it officially.
So
And
like
then
the real
re-upload
Drake
it.
would like re-record it
And then re-upload it, and they know for a fact that it's gonna do well because the fake one did so well, and then they get like a guaranteed
Yo,
billboard.
that's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
So how do you think that would work? Because then it's like the person who made the AI track can't come back and be like, bro, you stole my song. Because it's like, yeah, but you stole my voice.
And then they do like a deal, like a 30%, 70% deal with the guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen probably.
That would be genius.
Yeah.
Because then could you get in trouble? I don't think. Or maybe the labels will just buy the songs off of the people too.
Straight up, just saying.
So like, yo, I'll pay you 100 racks. Like, give me the song, and boom. Then Drake re-records it and all that.
Exactly.
It's gonna be crazy to see, but that's a hot take. I like that.
I think it's like a hustle. I think a hustle might be to try to make songs blow up from already popping artists. You know what I mean? So the artist is already hot. Try and get one to blow up on TikTok or YouTube. Once it blows up, go see a label. Say, if you want this song, it already has this many listeners. I can give it to you for 1,000, 2,000. You can re-upload. You can re-upload it officially with the music video, and it's done.
That would be crazy hustle. These guys are all the producers now. Now you know what to do.
It's an AI hustle, but I feel like it's already happening, but
yeah,
it's just early in the game right now.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it's going to evolve. But yeah, we talked about that a bit when Devo was here. The whole like, you know how now like type beats, like something you do, like a Drake type beat, let's say, but now you'll be making like a Drake type song.
Drake type song.
And we were getting as deep as like you could like sell the song to Drake too, right? Be like, yo, Drake, like I put your vocals on this, like I think like you would sound hard on it. And then if he's like, yo, this is a hit, let me buy it off you, boom.
Yeah.
It's crazy the directions it could go in.
Bro.
But these are like the good, I don't know how good it is because you're kind of taking away the authenticity of songwriting and stuff, but that's always been a bit corrupt anyways. Like the biggest singers, they don't even write their own songs.
100%.
So like
even
that,
Drake doesn't write his own stuff. The biggest artist in the world has the biggest ghostwriters.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess that's already been corrupt. So whatever.
At first, like, not gonna lie, AI kind of scared me because from like a music perspective, because I was like, damn, like, do I need to go? Because I have a tech background, I'm like, maybe I should go like learn how to create AI models.
Yeah.
Instead of like make beats, because that'll be like a higher leverage point. So for a while I was thinking about doing that seriously. But then I saw how fast the AI software was coming out. And I'm like, maybe I could just be really good at like using those models.
Yeah.
Than knowing how to create them from scratch.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm still not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, time will tell, I guess.
Oh, I'm also interested to see how well AI can, because right now AI has been really good in like voice cloning, so like repeating the voice, but I'm trying to see how good it can get at like making beats. Because if it can get me crazy loops, like me saying like, can you give me a guitar loop at 84 BPM that sounds like Linkin Park or Green Day? Like if it can do that, it's gonna like, for producers, that's gonna be like.
So then, yeah, but as a producer, like you almost everything is done for you, no?
But at the same time, I feel like as a producer, my biggest strength is knowing what beats sound hard. Because I've made so many beats from scratch, I feel like I'm really good at like hearing a beat for 1 second and being like, this is not.
That's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you got the ear for it, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like producing, if you have the ear for it, a tool like that obviously does all the work for you, but like you're still gonna be really good at using that tool.
Yeah.
Compared to someone that's never used it before.
Okay, that's true. And you know what? What I just said is kind of hypocritical because people using Splice and stuff, like those are already samples. Like they're not even cooking those samples up. Yeah. They're just using them and adding drums and stuff. Exactly. So it's already kind of like that, low key.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, it's just like an evolved version of that.
Yeah.
And in low-key, yeah, you could grow a social media following off of that, right? We were talking
Yeah.
about that full circle to the beginning of the thing when we were talking about like how to start from scratch. Like that's a way too. If you don't want to show your face and have that like human like personality aspect to
Yeah.
it, bro, just
Off of what?
off of using AI
What do you mean?
to grow your pages. Like you were saying, like growing songs like that are popping artists rather than you, if you're trying to skip that step of growing your own foundation, if you try to feed off of big artists already, then you
Oh,
don't need that little
100%.
baby feature if you could just reenact his
100%.
voice with the AI, right?
Yo, that's there's gonna be for sure like a lot of pages that are like guys just making little baby songs.
Yeah.
Like that's how they do.
No,
They just
exactly.
make little baby
And like people
songs.
that reply to comments, so let's say like next up is like a Rihanna track, then boom, he makes a Rihanna song. Then like you know when people like reply to comments in the next
with
video,
like
so
suggestions.
it becomes like a series of like, yo, who do you want me to do next? And then it's like,
Yeah.
yo, a little baby track, then a Drake track, J Cole track,
Yeah.
and then it's like it becomes like he builds his own community from
Yeah.
being that guy.
From being
so then
that
when he's
guy
being
that
seen,
makes
he's like, yo,
songs.
you're that AI guy that's making like hits for everyone, you know.
Exactly.
So that could be
And
a
if
way
they're
too.
fire, like some of these people are gonna remake the official version.
Exactly.
And that's a huge bag.
It's a win-win for everyone because I guess the AI guy would get a bag off the label or whatever,
Yeah.
and then the artist gets like a song.
It's like but it's like
it's a free hit. Well, you're paying
it's a
for
free
it,
hit.
but it's a hit though. It's a
Because
guaranteed
you know
hit.
that the people are already loving that song.
If it's already popping online, like
Yeah.
artists don't know what'll pop and what'll not, right? So
it's
it's
a
like,
guess.
yeah, unless it's already building hype. But like
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, you just put it out and hope for the best. But if it's already hot, then it's like it's a
already
guaranteed
hot.
hit.
It's a
And just the
guaranteed
storyline, but this will die out quick because after
Yeah.
10 people do it, it'll be like, hey, we heard this one too many
Yeah.
times. But the first few to do it, to be like, yo, you know what? I heard that AI track. I'll just make it better.
Yeah.
And boom. And then it's like, that'll go crazy.
Or you're at a certain point when the air gets so good, it's like I'm gonna leave it the same.
Yo, I know. Because it already sounds pretty good now.
Yeah, it sounds pretty.
So as it gets better, bro, like the voice thing, and it's going to be like,
But the thing though about the AI that I figured out like recently, so for example, if I make a Drake song, right? I try to make a Drake song, and then I replace my voice with Drake's. It's not because I'm using Drake's model that it's gonna be good. So the reference track, so the person that's giving the song to the AI model, that track, the Drake voice is only gonna sound like Drake did it. But to make it sound good, you need to make it sound good and then give
Yeah.
it to the AI model.
like you need to sing it like how Drake would, basically.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're off key when you do it, the Drake voice won't make it on key.
It's true. So you still do need skill. Like
So
you
the
need to know
guy-
how Drake would flow, what he would say. Like you
What he
still need
would
all those
say,
skills.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And even the guy that made the Selena song, like he's an actual like artist. So like just to say that like it's gonna be very good for like songwriters, people that make songs for other people already.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna be able to throw that voice on it.
It'd be so much easier to pitch a song to an artist, like a big artist, be like, yo, like this guy just like did this, and like, you know,
It sounds
easier
like,
to
yeah,
sell
it's-
rather than having to go in the studio and record it. It's like, no, this is what you would probably kind of sound like.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh damn.
I would sound like that.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me about it. Tell me a bit about you. So what are you up to? What are you working on? I know you're at the exposure thing and all that,
Yeah.
but for people who never heard of you, seen of you,
Yeah,
what are you up to music wise? What are your goals music wise? And yeah, just
for sure.
give some game.
So my long-term goal is actually to climb to the top of the music industry. And initially, I was very like, my target was very skinny. Like I wanted to be like,
Like very specific.
yeah, very specific. I wanted to be the biggest producer, biggest DJ. And as I got deeper into the music industry, I kind of like realized and kind of got a better understanding of like what my skill set was
Okay.
and the things that I was really, really good at. So at this point, I do want to still be the biggest producer and biggest DJ, but on top of that, I'm also looking into, you know, doing things in the music industry that are more on the tech side, that are more on the business side, and I would also be happy being a manager at Universal
Dope.
or having equity in Spotify.
Oh, okay.
And being on the board
cool.
of members of Spotify.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at the music industry, looking at
as a business rather than just the music.
exactly.
Yeah.
So my long-term goal would just be to get as far as I can in the music industry as a whole. And short-term goal right now would be to grow my audience on Instagram, YouTube, you know, grow to a point where I have people that kind of like, when I post something, like people like kind of like want to see what I'm up to.
Yeah. Like keep
And they
tabs
tune
on
in,
you. And
exactly.
Yeah.
They tune in, and yeah, build a little community.
Yeah, community
Yeah.
building is dope,
Community,
man.
yeah, community.
And it's the most important thing. It's
100%.
like you could have like a tiny community in regards to numbers, but that are so committed to the brand, bro. It's
Yeah.
like, let's say if I had 10,000 like core supporters,
Yeah.
that's huge when you think about
10,000
it, right?
people, bro, in one location?
Yeah, it's a lot of
That's
people.
crazy.
And if they're all willing to like spend their own money on like your t-shirt or whatever, it's
Yeah.
like, bro, you have like, I don't know, that's dope. Community building is just very fulfilling too. It's like a big family, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. That's what's dope about music. So I didn't even say this, but Cuomo, you had produced one of my tracks a couple years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
Serb.
wait. Serb.
Yeah, sir.
That
That's
beat
a
was
hip hop track for
hard.
real. That's when I was on my rap thing.
That beat was hard.
Yeah, that was a fun beat, bro. Serb during COVID. I
Yeah.
remember I heard that beat and it just reminded me of like I just lost my job that day for the 3rd time because of
What
COVID.
job?
I was at the Dome like as a receptionist there. Well, not a receptionist, but like I was kind of doing everything.
Yeah.
At the sports complex. And yeah, like because of COVID, since it was a sports complex, it kept getting closed, right? Because like of like all the rules and regulations here. So like I had gotten it back, but then the rules had changed. The rules would keep changing back then, right? So every time there'd be like a bad wave of COVID, we'd like shut down again. So I'd have to like I lost my job, went on employment insurance and all that.
And you got
with
served.
Serb, so I was getting Serb. So you'd send me that beat around the time that like yeah I'd lost my job for the second or third time. I say it at the beginning of the song, I can't remember, but that's like a true story. Like I was like yo for the 3rd time I lose my job. I was like
my raps.
yeah exactly.
Yeah.
And so yeah it was just a fun song, but it was right at the time that I kept losing my job because of the whole thing. And yeah, and then we got that feature Shalko from Montreal too. That was funny, bro.
Wait, who's the feature?
Shalko. He's popping on TikTok.
He's popping.
Yo, like he might be close to 1 mil right now on like followers. Because
Okay.
he took the meme thing to a whole different level. So he's been making actually, but not AI, but like himself, like a Drake type song and stuff. Like he would do something like if Drake made a song about like lasagna. Like I'm saying something super random, but then he does it and it's like hilarious. So he like
That's
memed himself and he's really good at it
dope.
too. Like he imitates like other like
That's dope.
singers or topics or whatever, like things that's popping in popular culture.
Yeah.
Bro, some of his videos
Oh, he
went
does like
crazy.
songs with like stuff that's currently like.
Yeah.
trending. That's
Things that
why.
are relevant in popular culture, and he memes it, right? So, and he's like, he actually makes them into bangers.
Yeah.
So he ends up racking like so many streams on Spotify because it becomes like meme songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a funny dude. But yeah, he jumped on Serb. He's from Montreal. Everyone from that album's from Montreal. That's why it's called King of My City. That was the whole idea. Every song had at least one feature from Montreal artist, and producer was someone from Montreal too.
Damn.
That was the whole concept of the album. Yeah, that was dope. That was a good time. But that's when we made Serb. It was during that time, and that was one of like the joke songs of the tape. You know, it wasn't like a serious song, but it was funny.
Where'd you record it?
In my shed, bro.
The shed?
Out back. So that whole album was recorded in my shed.
Okay.
'Cause it was during COVID once again, so it was like everyone was working from home,
Yeah.
so I couldn't be yelling and singing like in my house because
Yeah.
everyone's on like work calls and stuff.
Yeah.
Bro, it'd be crazy. Like when it was winter time, it was so cold that I have to do intervals. So I'd have like 15 minutes.
Yo, the hustle. Man.
Yeah, so I'd have to like have everything pre-written, like go in, set my things up, and I had like 15, 20 minutes before my equipment started giving out, and me. Like I was like trembling, like just dying of cold. So I'd do shifts of like 20 minutes in, 20 minutes out.
That's crazy.
And then when it got hotter, it was the opposite, right? Because you could like suffocate in there.
Yeah.
So it's funny, I experienced both because when I started the tape, it was like end of summer, so it was hot, hot, hot. And then it turned into winter, it's cold, cold, cold. The best time of year was like in between, like fall. It was like 15 degrees
Yeah,
outside.
you
I
could
was
just
I was
stay.
cozy. It was like sitting right here.
Yeah.
But that only lasted like 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that album was so fun, man. It's crazy. And I just started NSL then, you know. It was
Mhm.
like a few months old and I had so much time that I was like, yo, let me make a project.
It's crazy the amount of people you met in the music industry,
Yeah.
especially in Montreal.
A bit of everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, like social media allowed me through All Stars and through just Instagram hashtags, like to meet a lot of these artists and stuff. And then from there, I got invited to little events, little networking, or little shows. And that slowly but surely, you meet someone here, photographer, videographer, producer, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's a small world once
It's a
you're in.
small
It's a big
world.
world, but it's small at the same time that
It's
everyone
small,
kind of
yeah.
knows the one person.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, plug your IG and stuff so people can find you. So
Yeah, DJ
'em know.
Cuomo everywhere.
DJ Clem was
DJ?
simple.
Yeah, DJ like DJ and Cuomo like.
Yo, God bless you for that, by the way, because,
Yeah.
bro, so many people on my live streams.
Yeah.
It's the most complicated thing. This is a tip for you guys. It's a detail, but honestly, it causes friction. Like
Yeah.
when you have a different name on IG, a different name on TikTok, a different name on Spotify, it's like impossible.
It's hell, yeah.
Because like they DM me on IG to send me their music, right? So I see,
Yeah.
let's say it's DJ Cuomo on my TikTok chat, and he's like, "Yo, I just sent you my music." And I'm like trying to get him in there, so I go on my DMs, but then his name there is like Chris, Chris David.
Yeah.
But he never told me it's Chris Davis, so I have no idea who it is.
Yeah.
But then I go and I click his name, and then his Spotify is like a different name again.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm like, okay, so artist name this, but the individual who sent it on TikTok is this, and then his IG is it's bro.
Yeah.
It's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So one little detail for artists, like try to keep everything the same. Like me, it's
Yeah.
like Drew NSL. Like it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
You remove friction.
it's exactly. It's a detail, but honestly, it plays a role.
Yeah.
Like just keep the same name everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Just those little details, I swear, I think they make a difference. So I'm way more likely to remember, like, you know, DJ Cuomo. Okay, it's consistency
It's
everywhere.
consistent
I know
everywhere.
that's you. I know that's you. I know that's you. There's no like, oh
Exactly.
shit, okay, that's him. That's him. Like, get that out of here. Especially when you're small, bro. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
anything
It
to
sucks
just
when like the name's already taken somewhere.
yeah,
That sucks.
that's tough. You got to work around it. Like add like a
Like a one or something.
yeah, exactly, or like an underscore or something.
Oh, yo, what do you think about Zuck's move with the thread?
Yo, honestly, I just jumped on it because like the wave was hitting, bro.
Yeah, everybody
Like,
was on it.
yo, but I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's just that initial hype.
Yeah.
You know what, like, you think like for something to blow up that quickly, you know, they say that the quicker you rise, the quicker you fall.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like, I don't know if it'll be that. Unless they have which honestly, Meta is so smart and powerful. I do think they have more of a vision than what it is right now.
Yeah.
This is more just like that initial factor, and then they're probably gonna, you know, make it into something. Obviously to compete with Twitter, that's no question. But I think there's a bigger reason for it. You know, the fact that it's an Instagram app, like they really made that link, right? Like they're kind of neck and neck locked in. There's probably a bigger reason for it. I just don't know what it is yet. I think it makes sense from Zuckerberg's perspective, given everything going on with Twitter. Like, so who knows? Maybe that's how it'll play with Threads too. I made an account just because I saw like all the stats of like the first app to hit 100 mil. I was like, damn, like
more than ChatGPT.
it was the quickest application to hit that, like to hit that amount of users in that little time. So I made one, and yeah, I'm just gonna post. Like for me, I'm gonna use it for like updates on the whole NSL community. So things like now, like I decided one little thing, which is small, but every time I go live, you know, there was a lot of people asking me like, yo, you should always pick like your favorite song of the stream or like highlight some of your best songs. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I just didn't know how to do it. So for example, Threads, I'll be posting after every stream, I pick my favorite song and I give them a shout out. So like I'll say like the song, the artist, like where they can find them and what kind of song it is, whatever.
That's
Just
dope.
just to give a bit of additional love. Like I don't know how much it's actually gonna bring traffic to that individual, but still just to give a bit of like more light on them. So things like that. Or like if I have a new pod, I'll drop it there like, yo, new pod if like for like this topic, whatever. Just announcements. That's what I'll be using it for. I don't know if it'll last, but for now people are on it, man. So we'll see. I never used Twitter, so I'm very lost
I've
on
never
it.
used Twitter. Yeah.
Bro, I opened Threads and I was lost. Like I felt like a boomer, bro. I was watching videos on like YouTube and stuff.
On how to like post and stuff.
Well, just like what it is. I was like,
Yeah.
it's just like a big ass comment section.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It
I'm
really
just
is a
scrolling
big-
through there and it's like I just didn't get it. It felt, bro. You know what it felt like
Yeah.
when we were young, and Facebook statuses were popping.
It felt
Yo,
like
you know
I
when
used to
the-
beat
when
all
it
your
was
friends'
like-
Facebook status.
Yeah, I remember like my status for a TVH, that kind of crazy thing, bro. That's when like
yo TBH.
yeah, we were so like young.
You know
Then,
what's
but-
crazy about that trend? I didn't understand what TBH was, and it took me like a year to understand what it was, bro. I swear, bro.
Sure, but that's low key what it reminded me of. When I opened Threads, I was like, yo, there's a bunch of like status updates, bro. It's crazy. I feel like a boomer. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about it? Do you think it's here to stay?
It's funny because I actually don't follow anybody that I know my personal life on my Twitter.
Okay.
So it was cool to see like people like, because it's a different they're different posts, right? I feel like your Instagram feed is like a bunch of pictures, videos, whatever.
Yeah.
With the thread section, it was cool to see my friends express themselves in different.
You see it from a different perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dope. I think for like, again, like a niche, like your hardcore following will probably like the threads because it gives like that like human kind of like opinions on things and stuff that you
Yeah.
don't see through like pictures and stuff
Yeah.
or how they're feeling in the present moment.
Yeah.
So I think for
That's
hardcore
true.
fans, it's going to be dope, very valuable. Or for things like merch drops and stuff, like those who really rock with you, like they'll like those updates, I think.
Yeah.
So again, I don't think it's for like the mainstream appeal, like it would be like an IG post. I think is really like you're dropping something, you know, it's like
Yeah.
more serious. But
Mhm.
things like threads and stuff, it's more just like for those who really rock with you.
Mhm.
That's what I think it is. That's how I see it now.
But do you think that he'll incorporate that with Instagram though? Because I haven't seen.
Well, right now the only way they're linked is that like the profiles are linked, right? So like if you go on my profile, you'll see like the threads icon, and that'll redirect you to the threads.
Oh,
That's how it is right
how
now.
That was okay.
Yeah, I use all social media more as like a business tool.
Yeah.
It's my personal IG. I barely check it. I'll check it once a day just to see like what my close friends are up to. But bro, like I don't consume social media like normal people do. Like I don't really consume it.
Yeah.
The only times I watch like YouTube is for me to reuse that content or to get ideas like learning.
Yeah.
So yeah, people that say like social media is so unhealthy for the youth and stuff, like it's just the way you use it
Yeah.
that's unhealthy or healthy.
Yeah.
Like I'm on social media, bro, like literally I'm not exaggerating, probably 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah.
Like because I just see it as like a marketing tool.
Yeah.
Right? Or a communication tool or whatever. But like if I'm looking for validation and all that stuff, then I'm done. Then it would be very like I'd be like, yo, like my newest post didn't get as much engagement as my previous one. Like bro, I would give up so quickly.
Yeah.
It's like if social media is affecting your mental health, first of all, you should get off of it. If you're not trying to be a social media creator, if you're just a consumer and it's really bothering you because of like if it gives you FOMO or if it makes you compare yourself to other people, like I think you should just stop using it. But if you're using it as like a business tool, I don't think it'll affect you because if you're using it for the right reasons. A lot of people like it's sad that they get into the whole like they compare themselves to other people's lifestyle. Oh, your life's so good, my life's so bad. Or oh, you're so much prettier than I am. Or oh,
Yeah.
you have like a nicer car than me. Like that's like
Yeah.
that's scary, bro. Like I can see how it's very problematic. It's just the way you use this technology.
Yeah. The technology kind of increases what's already
The vulnerabilities in society.
Yeah, it
100%.
increases it. It exposes it.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm not saying that it's like all technology has good and bad in it though.
Yeah.
We're the ones using it. So if it's bad, it's because we're using it in the wrong way.
Exactly. So if we can fix ourselves first.
Exactly. That was dope, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. That was
My
dope.
pleasure, man.
So one more time, DJ Cuomo, go check him out everywhere. Show him some love and never stop laughing, baby. Go check out our music. Go check out the song we made together. If you found value in this video, if you found any value, please subscribe, like. I'm trying to grow this YouTube page and it's slowly but surely working. So thank you guys.
This was fun, man.
You killed it, bro. You're very natural.
Yo, first podcast ever, man.